Hey guys, Michael from Fire and Brilliance, and today's episode is made specifically for you. So thanks to all the comments, likes, suggestions, emails, forms that you filled out, reaching out to us not only on YouTube, but also IG. If you don't know already, I know I've mentioned this many times in the past, one of the fancy cut gemstones that looks very diamond-like is the First Crush Ice Moissanite by Fire and Brilliance. I've said that many times. That's the reason why I have a cup of crushed ice. We're not talking about water here. We're not talking about real ice where you drink. We're talking about actual gemstones. Okay, so today specifically, I do want to talk about the FAB First Crush equal-sided Cushion Moissanite versus a natural crushed ice cushion diamond, so that I can compare both the Moissanite line as well as a natural diamond, so that you can compare for yourself, especially if you're in the market, especially if you're looking for something to purchase and you need to know more information about it, and I'm gonna get right into it for you. So here it is. As you may already know, I typically will try to use a GIA certified diamond for my comparisons if and when possible. So this diamond that I am taking out is definitely a GIA certified diamond. All that basically means is that this diamond's been sent into the Gemological Institute of America, or GIA, to basically have the laboratory graded based on their specifications. So the diamond that I will be taking out is a diamond that was graded in July 2nd of 2018. It's a cushion modified Brilliance, which is basically a terminology for crushed ice for the most part. Okay, so not always, but for the most part. You do have to visually look at it and basically visually appraise it yourself prior to considering if it's going to be a crushed ice or not, because it does have to have specific optical properties. But with that being said, here are the measurements. It's basically a 7 by 6.7 millimeter. It's a 2-carat diamond actual weight. It's an H color, or near-colorless gemstone, a VVS1. So it's a very high clarity grade diamond. It's an excellent polish, excellent symmetry with strong blue fluorescence. And so this will be the diamond that I will be comparing it next to the First Crush Ice Moissanite by Fire and Brilliance. All right, so the first stone that I do want to take out is the GIA certified diamond that I had just mentioned to you. Okay, so this is it. Here it is. Now, what is a crushed ice diamond? All that basically means, regardless if it's a diamond or a moissanite, is that if you're taking a look at the stone, it looks exactly like what it would look like if you were to put crushed ice in a cup and drink from it. The way the diamond is faceted is to create this optical illusion where light is bouncing back and forth to give it a very busy and beautiful reflection. So in other words, when you're moving it around, it should look very sparkly as the light is bouncing in between the stone and back into your eyes. So in other words, the complication of the faceting creates this crushed ice appearance and gives it a very busy and beautiful looking gemstone, especially if you're going for this specific optical property. Okay, so that being said, this is the natural diamond. As you can see, it's a certified GIA diamond at approximately 7 millimeter. So here we go. So this stone is slightly elongated, as I had mentioned earlier in my when I was showcasing the actual report. It was approximately a 7 by 6.7 millimeter. So it is slightly elongated. As you can see, this stone here is slightly longer in the length and it's slightly shorter in the width, okay? And there's a reason for that. Diamonds are not as standardized as the way a moissanite is cut, and the reason being is because a natural rough found in nature is what it is. So a diamond cutter will try to maximize that stone's potential once they cut it into a diamond. So in order to maximize that potential, it also maximizes that diamond cutter's profitability. So if this rough was slightly larger than this polished diamond, then they're going to maximize that. So instead of going with from a 6.5 to a 7 millimeter, or 7 millimeter to 7.5, 8 to an 8 to 8.5, like that of moissanite, where it's in a controlled environment, diamonds are less controlled since it's in nature. Okay, that being said, let me take out the First Crush Crushed Ice Moissanite by Fire and Brilliance. Here it is. For apples to apples comparison purposes, I am taking out a 7 millimeter First Crush Crushed Ice Near-Colorless gemstone, so that we are comparing apples to apples as close to it as possible. This is a 7 by 7 millimeter First Crush even-sided moissanite by Fire and Brilliance, and as you can see, the way it's faceted on the top of the gemstone, or the crown, the area above the girdle, as well as on the bottom of the gemstone, or the pavilion, the way it's faceted creates this optical property to create that crushed ice look. I normally don't say this, but I have said it many times. If there is a gemstone other than a round cut, if you're looking for a fancy cut, that is very diamond-like, if that's what you're going for. Again, moissanite is normally used and commonly used as a diamond alternative. So if you are purchasing moissanite for the beauty of moissanite, then more power to you. But if you're purchasing moissanite because you're looking for something that is a diamond alternative and you do not like a round cut, then I would have to say that the cushion cut, especially the even-sided cushion cut such as this one, is very diamond-like when it comes to overall appearance. Okay, so I do want to disclose that obviously it's a moissanite, it's not a diamond. Okay, versus a natural diamond and a moissanite, they're obviously not the same. But in terms of optical properties, moissanite is regularly used when comparing next to a natural diamond because of the optical properties. It looks very similar to that of a natural diamond, especially if you're going for a crushed ice look. This is as close as it gets, currently anyway. So as you can see, it's very beautiful, it's very busy, it looks gorgeous, and when you're placing it next to each other, it's just absolutely stunning. Both here, again, for comparison purposes, this one is a 7 by 7 millimeter. This one here is slightly longer, a little above 7 millimeter, and a little shorter than a 7 millimeter, about 6.7 millimeters. So both are crushed ice. The one on the right is a First Crush Moissanite by Fire and Brilliance. The one on the left is a GIA certified diamond. All right, and I'm sure you're curious as to know what the price points are. Okay, with the natural diamond, depending on where you buy it, it's extremely important that you know this, only because depending on the retailer, the brand, where you buy it, if it's a big brand store or if it's not, if it's a local mom and pop shop or if it's not, diamonds may range in prices. But approximately, based on my research and today's current market prices in February of 2019 for this specific gemstone, this diamond, an H color VVS1, a cushion modified natural diamond certified by GIA, with excellent polish, symmetry, and strong blue fluorescence, it's going to cost you anywhere between $12,000 to $20,000 US, depending on where you buy it. This is a First Crush Crushed Ice Moissanite by Fire and Brilliance. It's a 7 millimeter, and it is currently priced at $555 US. Both gemstones are in the near colorless range for apples to apples comparison. So for comparison purposes, I definitely just want to measure it for you so that more or less I can prove that I am taking out the diamond that I'm claiming that we're taking out, okay? But I do want you to keep in mind that when you're looking at these measurements, it will, using these tools here with the scale as well as with the millimeter gauge, it can only measure to a certain extent. Do keep in mind that these gemstones are basically, when you are measuring it in a laboratory such as GIA, they are using very sophisticated equipment and they're averaging specific measurements from lengths to widths, okay? So it won't be exactly identical, but it'll be very close to it. Again, so the length and the width here should be approximately a little above 7 millimeters and a little above 6.7 millimeters, or about 6.7 millimeters in width, okay? So here is the width. There you go. That's about 6.68. Right, so it's approximately there using this millimeter gauge. But again, in a laboratory, they will use specific averages because there are little nuances and little variances from the top of the gemstone all the way to the bottom of the gemstone, and they're measuring every little fraction of a millimeter. Okay, so that is the same gemstone. And if you are to measure the length, there you go. That's at 7.01 millimeter versus the stone on the certified paperwork at 7.06, so it's 7.02. So again, there are slight variations when measuring it in-house versus in a lab. So that's why when you are going to buy a natural diamond, it's extremely important that you also buy it with an inscription. So there should be an inscription on the girdle of the stone that has the certification number of the GIA lab, right? So that you can confirm that you're getting the same exact stone, all right? Now, and if you are to ever question whether or not you have the same exact stone or not, you can always send it back to GIA so that they can confirm, if you want them to grade it again, that it's the same exact stone, that you're buying it from a specific jeweler. And if that certification is the same certification for that stone, they could always confirm that information as well, okay? That being said, here is the measurement of the moissanite. For comparison purposes, I took out a 7 millimeter. There you go, that's a 7 millimeter. And if I was to turn it around, it should be just a little above or a little below 7 millimeter, or even maybe exactly. So that's a 7.06. So there you go. So with moissanite, there's a slight variation since we do standardize the cuts. That sometimes it may be a little above or maybe a little below, about 0.1 of a millimeter, 0.05 to 0.1 of a millimeter plus or minus based on the standard cuts, okay? So that is the measurement. All right, so here is what I would like to do. I would definitely want to weigh in both gemstones and explain to you as to how this works, okay? So again, the GIA certified diamond should weigh in at approximately 2 carats, or to be exact, 2.01 carats. And let me go ahead and do that for you. All right, so here is the weigh-in. So this confirms that this is the diamond on the GIA certified, or certificate rather, is at 2.01 carats for this specific natural crushed ice cushion diamond. Now I'm going to take the moissanite out, which is the closest comparison at 7 millimeters. Now, if you've been following my content or if you're new to the channel, then welcome, but this should weigh less. And the reason why is that moissanite in general is less dense than that of natural diamond. So even if it's at a similar stone size, then it should always weigh less. And that will always confirm that it's a moissanite, okay? So let me go ahead and set this in. There you go. So the moissanite is at 1.645 carats. And again, it's because a moissanite, although the measurements are relatively the same in terms of length, width, and depth, the difference is that all in all, it's less dense, and therefore when you're weighing it on a scale, it should definitely weigh less. All right, guys, so I hope you really like what you saw there. This episode, again, is made specifically for you. If you do like it, if you don't like it, let us know. Leave a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't hit the notification bell yet, it looks a little similar to this, okay? So it's obviously not in 3D form. It could be on your left corner, right corner, bottom corner, depending on if you're on a mobile device or on a browser. But then if you hit that notification button, then basically what will happen is that it will notify you each and every single time a new video is posted. That being said, This video specifically was made for you, so we do mean it when we say it. Leave a comment. Let us know what you want to see. If there's a video that you want us to make to compare one gemstone versus another, one cut versus another, a piece of jewelry versus another, we do put it on a list. And once we get to it, if it's popular enough, then we will make it just for you, okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this provides you with some educational value, so that if you are in the market to make a specific decision, jewelry is not cheap. It's it's a big item that people will purchase for a very special event in their life. So our job here is to make sure that you get what you asked for and then you're happy with it, okay? So with that being said, I'll see you again next time, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.